My name is Jermaine Carter, and I'm a DC artist.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
My name is Mike Easton, and I am a DC artist.
In your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
There are 3 DC artists that created work for everyone to see, and their work will go down in DC's art history. Each of these artists will show you what their art means in every generational voice in DC.
Okay, when it comes to what I like to paint, I like to challenge myself. So I do a lot of hyperrealism sometimes, or just realism. It's fun because I'm kind of I'm not really a textbook artist, but I'm really influenced by the Renaissance artists. I'm Jermaine Carter. I'm a visual artist at DCARTIST School of the Arts, and I am a senior. I realized I was a visual artist really early before a lot of things. I remember it back in elementary school, I used to make little drawings and comic books for other kids, and that was really cool, and I used to sell them. So that's when I first started getting up in there and trying to figure out what I was more comfortable with. So I was doing a lot of cartoons and things from TV shows I would put in there. And then I went to my middle school, and then I found out I can do more with this because I went to also a secondary arts middle school. So that was pretty fun, learning, getting more comfortable with what I wanted to do until I went to Ellington. And it just helped me from there. And it just improved my skills tenfold. And so the story behind this picture is one of my favorite pieces. I call it Newport City. To take something and make it into an anatomic object or something that doesn't really personify itself and make it into a whole giving this a human feel to it. So right here I have these officers, police officers, and from their perspective it's they're looking down on you. My series per se, which leaded into my senior year, is on police brutality, which is a very big issue, especially as me for a young black man to be faced with police brutality or being racially profiled or just being the product of your own environment, especially with a DC artist like me. So other artists that inspired me from DC were people from, I would look on my Instagram a lot to go through social media. I would see people Demont Pender. I would see people who were really influenced by DC and DC native people. That was really good for me to see that and hey, they're from DC, I'm from DC. I could do the same thing these guys are doing. I'm very inspired by pop culture. I used to watch a lot of movies and a lot of things growing up that influence a lot of my artwork now. Also things what's happening in the world, I like to put those into my pieces too. All right, okay, so other styles that I like to do, I was doing printmaking, I'm making carvings and all that. I didn't really go into more depth with it, but I would like to put more printmaking into my works now. I did some 3D work. I started off with bust.
Shoot, when I paint, I feel like, man, God is real. My name is Sean Lindsay, also known as Painter. My favorite thing about art is the process. Because, you know, art, you have, you know, the making of it, and you also have the end product. You know, I enjoy the end product, but I just enjoy the process of being in the art making the most. When I go through my process, what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about colors, shapes, and forms, like how they relate to each other. Like, how would this form in this color relate to this other form or shape in this color? Like, you know, colors can go from being loud to very muted. Shapes can be flat, you know, versus like having volume. I don't know. I like what would you say, the contrast of all that. The piece that I chose is my self-portrait. It's entitled King Painted It First. You know, I use paint straight out the tube for texture. Same thing for scrapers to add texture. Or if you want, you know, to flesh the painting out, I would use, you know, brushes to get smoother strokes. It's visually, it's like a play on, you know, portraits of old kings. King this the first, king that the first. Long live Painter, that's just, you know, what I live by. You know, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to be Painter. I'm going to pursue, you know, a working career in painting. My paintings mean that I have the courage to continue. You know, because it's kind of hard to, you know, keep painting when you don't have resources. So it's just every time I create a painting, it's just proud. It makes me proud that I can keep going and that I keep learning.
One of the tips or my advice would be to continue to read and practice. My name is Mike Easton. I'm the chair of the Visual Arts Department and also a native of Washington, D.C. But within my community, I would experience art through comic books, the funny page, the cartoons you would see on TV. It wasn't until later that I began to notice individuals in the community who dabbled in visual arts. My mom discovered that I had an interest in drawing, and so she enrolled me in a community arts program. At that time, it was known as Signs of the Times. Jimmy Greggs was the founder and also art director over there. And it was in that program that I was then exposed to art from an academic perspective. So then we had to learn the human anatomy. Also we worked from life as well as arrange still lifes. So it was at that time that I was introduced to other young individuals that were interested in the art-making process. It's titled Hello Again because you have a lot of young boys from that era that are growing up without fathers due to either homicide or incarceration. As an artist, black life matters when it matters to black people. And so that's my story now. So I've sort of moved away from portraits, and I want to begin to once again use my art as a vehicle for raising public morality. I describe myself as a realist. I consider myself as a realist based on the way I see things around me, One of the challenges has always been having the ability to record things as they really appear.
DC visual artists have stories for generations to see that represent an artist's evolution throughout history. These artists' lives are the pencil, the paintbrush, the stencil, the oils, and the chalk. And for the DC artists, this is how they will make their mark.
And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. My love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
My name is Sean Lindsay, and I'm a DC artist.
As a parent, I think it's tragic that 1 in 5 children struggles with hunger right here in America. But there is hope. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome to DC Artists. I'm your host, Amma Powell. Today, DC, you will learn about 3 local visual artists and their stories. Welcome, everyone.
Hello. Hello, how you doing?
Hello.
All right, will you please introduce yourselves?
Yes, hi, my name is Mike Easton. I am the chair of the Visual Arts Department here in Washington, D.C., and I am a local artist.
All right. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing? Jermaine Carter, also known as Jet for short. I'm a DC artist too, and I live in Southeast Washington, D.C., and I attend Duke Ellington School of the Arts as a visual arts major senior.
All right, welcome, Jermaine.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sean Lindsay, also known as Painter. I grew up in Forestville, Maryland, went to Seward, I went to the Art Academy in Cincinnati. Now I live in Southeast D.C., where I work, live, paint.
All right. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. When did you all first realize you had a passion for art?
Okay.
Well, I can start with you, Mike.
Thanks. Well, I had an opportunity as a young man to attend an arts program known as Sign of the Times, at which time I fell in love with drawing and painting. Okay. But I always had this desire to learn how to draw. So, and I think, so then having said that, the start of that was through seeing a piece done by an artist by the name of Frank Frazetta. Okay. He was a fantasy artist. You may know his work. He produced a lot of work that would illustrate Conan the Barbarian. And there were also movies produced from his work as well.
Okay, nice. Jermaine?
So I started realizing that I was an artist back in it was really early, I think around elementary school was when I just started just drawing things for fun. And I would make comic books in class for my classmates, and they started liking it. Then I started thinking I can get pretty serious with this. So I just took that initiative to just go ahead and just keep on doing it and see how far I can get with art. And now I just took it pretty seriously and started learning how to paint and draw more and get into different mediums and started going more towards realism. So yeah.
Okay, great, Sean.
Well, as a kid, I just had the talent to draw, so I just drew on everything I could find. I never really had a passion for it. It was just fun, something to do. But my parents noticed I had a talent, and they forced me into classes. And then from taking classes, I was pushed into going into the VPA program at Suitland. And then from there, once I started getting the education, I was like, I kind of like this thing. And then that's when I was like, I'm going to take this serious and let's do this for the rest of my life.
All right. Great, great. So, in reference to life, what does a day in your art life look like, Sean?
Well, I wake up, I get my daughter ready for school, and then it's what can I do in the studio? Do I paint? Do I work on a painting? Do I prepare for a painting? Or it's a bunch of promotion on the internet, you know, posting stuff that I've already painted. Basically, it's always just working around something to do with painting, preparing for a painting, and continuing a painting, or promoting the painting.
Okay. Jermaine, same question. What does your day look like?
So like my day looks like, so as a high school student, I'm still like going towards like the academics. So I have to get all that stuff done first, you know, before I do all my art stuff. We get like about 3 to 4 hours in school to work on our artwork. And so during that time, I think of like what I'm going to do towards the next painting, or if I'm going to work on a painting like right now or something, or I will just draw it out. It's all about planning for me. I kind of like take my time and prep up for a piece before I get ready to do it. And yeah, just sometimes I wouldn't even paint that day. I would just take all day just thinking about something I would paint or prep for it.
Okay. And I was going to ask you, how do you decide what to paint, or how do you decide what you choose to paint?
Oh, I get inspiration from where I'm from. You know, it's a lot of like, it's not, you know, it's kind of rough some places and stuff. So I like really go there to grab inspiration from those things and just bring that into my painting. I like to do things from political and politics too. Also, just taking things from real life world events inspires me to do some of my paintings, the majority of my work.
All right. Mike, what does a day in your life look like?
Oh, wow. As an educator, a day for me evolves around planning assignments that will reinforce the mission at Duke Ellington School of the Arts.
Okay.
And that is to develop the art scholar with the hopes of giving our students earning power, such as a young man like Jermaine, what he explained in his answer. And so keeping that environment filled with inspiration and also information, so that there's a thirst for learning. And so it consists of meetings, lesson plans, grading, and evaluating students' work. Yeah.
All right, all right. So, Sean and Jermaine, what are some of the themes of your work?
Themes? Well, right now, I would say female figure, color, and how I would say painting in general.
Okay. Jermaine?
Well, like with some themes I'm working on right now, I'm doing my senior series currently. It's like we composed 12 pieces for our senior final synopsis of how well we do our work and how much we learn from being at school. So my theme on that is on modern day injustice through the use of personification, is where I take things to personify them or people into political standpoints, more towards police brutality and current events like that.
Oh, okay. And I was going to ask in reference to the current events, how does that inspire your work?
Oh, yeah, that inspires my work. Like, I get inspiration from a lot of things I see or things that just like come to my head. But I get that because I do like read a lot in the paper sometime, or I would just watch TV a lot too. I would look at the news sometime and I would see these stories. They would interest me, and I mean, like, how can I use this? Like, I know we can use this from a vocal perspective, or like, what do I use it from a visual perspective? So that's what I think about before I do my paintings. Like, how can I visualize this to like show the observer or viewer how I see that?
Okay. And Mike, what are your main inspirations for your work?
Well, my main inspiration for my work evolves around reinforcing public morality through visual arts.
Okay.
Much like Jermaine, so I'm sitting here and I'm really excited because what he represents as a student at Duke Ellington School of the Arts. But back to my work, using art as a vehicle for reinforcing public morality gives me an opportunity, much like Jermaine, to address some of the issues that we see in society. And so if my work, it gives my work meaning and gives my work an opportunity to fulfill its assignment in the earth. Everything that we create as artists is designed to do a particular thing. Much like the chair I'm sitting in, it was created by an artist. And the purpose is to bring about support, comfort, and so art is much like that. My art, as I stated, gives me an opportunity to address some of those issues so that when individuals look at my work, they can walk away with something, a lesson or something that will change ultimately, how they react and respond, in society.
And that brings me to my next question, which is, what is something that you feel all visual artists should do?
Very good question. Well, it's an awesome responsibility. And so I think given that responsibility, the artist should certainly be clear about what their assignment is. So then, if that is the case, then I think the work should speak to that. If an artist decides that they would like to show how beautiful the world is or can be, then I think the work should reflect that. But the balance is we also live in a world that's ugly at times. And so as an artist, then I think we have the responsibility to also illustrate that. What art does is it reminds us just how human we are.
Okay. What about you, Sean? What do you think visual artists should do?
To have a good sense of faith and work ethic, constantly, create and improving on yourself and your craft. And never give up, because that's, I guess, the biggest fault in artists is when you, I guess, give up on yourself and you, I guess, choose not to continue on this path that you have chosen. I don't know, because I feel like if you can, constantly create, then that could gravitate others towards what you're doing and maybe inspire others to push themselves to do what they love. It may not be painting, but it could be something else that they may be interested in.
Very good, very good. So what projects are you guys currently working on? You want to start, Jermaine, with that?
Yeah, I'll start on that. So a project I'm currently working on, I'm working on my 9th installment of my 12-piece senior series. So I've been sketching around. This has been like the hardest part of my senior series. I've been like having to do I wanted to go a lot bigger with my work, just to show like a more dramatic effect, to more, I want to lean more towards a lot more serious things into my senior series. At first it's been a little lighthearted, but now it's time to, with these last couple of pieces, I want to go like more into depth with them, with some really strong, bold colors, dropping some figures down in there, and yeah, it's going to turn out pretty well, if the sketch goes well. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Mike?
Well, I'm currently preparing for an exhibit that's going to take place with the DC Commission, Blacks in the Arts, Black Artists of DC. And that show is scheduled for February the 2nd is the opening. And so the works reflect Africans throughout the diaspora. And so given that it's a group show that, as I stated, consists of all the artists, not all the artists, but a number of artists, black artists in the metropolitan area. And so we're putting together an exhibit to reflect that.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sean, are you currently working on anything?
I'm working on a couple of series, not for any particular reason, just to, have work on hand. One is something I've been, collectively working on over the years, but I've just come to the realization that this style is, you know, what it is. I call it, you know, like wild style painting. So I'm continuing on to that, trying to build on that process on what it is. Can I take it to another step, or will it just, you know, stay where it is at the moment? And I'm also working on this red and black series, and they're all paintings of women. You know, yeah, I like to paint figuratively.
Okay, so why do you choose women to paint?
Because women are not appreciated. They're either seen as objects, or mainly only seen as objects, and not as women.
Okay.
So I'm trying to, I don't know, let's either, you know, take away the objective eye, even I believe it may not be possible to take away that objective eye of women, but up the appreciation of women. Their, you know, their beauty, and just, I don't know, just let's take away the stigmas and the taboos.
Right, right. Okay. So what are you guys' plans for the future with your art? Where do you plan to take it?
I'm going to defer to these young men.
Okay. Jermaine?
So where I take my art, first I want to get my college stuff done, you know. After that, want to do, I think I want to be a not a portrait, more of a gallery like artist, having exhibits a lot and everything. But the main goal is, like, for me, is to really get my work out there. And I also want to consider being a teacher in the arts, because I know, like, as I was younger, a lot of people didn't push me to do my artwork. It was my mom and my family most definitely, but it wasn't really that enforcement I had, or like what really inspired me to actually do artwork. So I would love to be that figure to other people or young aspiring artists to, like, come to. So after, I do that, get my teacher's degree in art, then I'm going to pursue that.
Okay, would you consider bringing that back to DC?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. I got to bring that back to DC. It's my home, so yeah.
Great. All right.
And
you, Sean?
Me, my plans are just to continue making work, and then pray that, you know, forces push me to be a better representation of, you know, of a black artist.
Okay.
To show that, I don't know, that there isn't no separation between an artist and a black artist. You know what I'm saying? Because people expect black artists to only paint, you know, a certain type of thing, quote unquote, you know, black art.
Right.
But, you know, there's more out there. So I just, you know, want to be a better representation of, you know, what it is to be a quote unquote black artist.
Okay. All right. Mike?
To complete the journey, finish the course, you know. If that means to continue to inspire young artists to fulfill their dreams, then that's the future for me.
So I want to thank all of you guys for coming and sharing.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for watching DC Artists. Until next time, I'm your host, Amma Powell.